Welcome back to today's episode of the Hard Truth Podcast. Today we're in the book of Psalm, chapter 73, and we're talking about the influx of Christianity in America. I'm your host, Clay Lyons.
I'm Jacob Boyce.
I'm Dollar Tape.
I'm going to read a little bit out of Psalm chapter 73, but I'm going to skip around some, so just kind of bear with me. Starting off in verse 2, "But as for me, I almost lost my footing. My feet were slipping, and I was almost gone. For I envied the proud when I saw them prosper, despite their wickedness. They seem to live such painless lives. Their bodies are so healthy and strong. They don't have troubles like other people. They're not plagued with problems like everyone else. They wear pride like a jeweled necklace and clothe themselves with cruelty. These fat cats have everything their hearts could ever wish for. They scoff and speak only evil. In their pride, they seek to crush others." So that kind of starts off pretty hard, and then you get kind of, where's it at? So skipping down to verse 13, "Did I keep my heart pure for nothing? Did I keep myself innocent for no reason? I get nothing but trouble all day long. Every morning brings me pain. If I had really spoken this way to others, I would have been a traitor to your people. So I tried to understand why the wicked prosper, but what a difficult task it is. Then I went into your sanctuary, O God, and I finally understood the destiny of the wicked. Truly you put them on a slippery path and send them sliding over a cliff to destruction. In an instant they are destroyed completely, swept away by terrors. When you arise, O Lord, you will laugh at their silly ideas, as a person laughs at dreams in the morning. Then I realized that my heart was bitter, and I was torn up inside. I was so foolish and ignorant, I must have seemed like a sinless animal to you. Yet I still belong to you. You hold my right hand, you guide me with your counsel, leading me to a glorious destiny. Whom I have in heaven but you. I desire you more than anything on earth. My health may fail, my spirit may grow weak, but God remains the strength of my heart. He is mine forever." And I'm going to stop right there. So, Asaph, in the beginning of Psalm chapter 73, he says what every single one of us think at certain times.
Yeah.
Why is he getting everything, and why am I having such a hard time as a follower?
Because, like you said, they're having a good time. They're having a good time of their life, and we are struggling because we're different than them.
Yep.
I mean, like we talked earlier the last couple of weeks, when you became a Christian, you give your life to Jesus. It's gonna get rough. And I remember you said that you lost some friends. We all lost some friends. And the reason to get to live a high life is because it's kind of like you got the God on your right shoulder and you got the devil on your left. And God said, "Hey, come follow me, you get the good thing, but you gotta be patient." But the devil's like, "Hey, you want the high life? There you go, you want it." It's kind of like they've been blinded, supposedly.
Yeah, so what this passage in particular reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, there's a video, it goes around Facebook, TikTok sometimes, but it's this old lady, she's blind, she's got dementia, she's sitting in this chair, and her grandson is this horrible person.
I actually just watched that for probably the fifth time, a week ago. It's deep stuff.
Yeah, and he's sitting there scolding her, you know, you live for God, you've lived this blameless life, and look at you, look what you've got in return. And then she flat out punches him in the throat without punching him in the throat. She's like, yeah, maybe I'm having a hard time here on earth, but I'm about to spend eternity with my Creator. She said, you're dressed slick, you got everything, and I'm kind of paraphrasing some, I don't remember it exactly. But she says, you got everything you ever wanted. You're living this, what you think is an awesome life. She says, when the devil's got a hold of you, he doesn't need to slam the cell door shut.
He leaves it open.
Yeah,
then he slams it open slams it closed when it's too late.
Yep.
Well, it's just, if you think, I don't do the hunting stuff, but if you think about it in hunting aspects, if you're trapping, if you think about things in a trapping aspect, I mean, usually an animal just thinks they're coming to get a little treat. Next thing you know, they're got.
Yep.
Before you know it. And so it's like, that's kind of, we're just about as smart as dumb animals most of the time.
Exactly.
So we go, man, why would I want to do anything else? I got the money, I got the material, I got this or that. I mean, whatever you're into, you got. So why would you want to change your life? And then next thing you know, when you get to the end of life and you realize where you end up and he closes the door on you, you realize then I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And just like that TikTok, I came across one. There's a guy, he's a preacher, and he was telling everybody that, hey, maybe you should read the Bible. And he said, it's okay. We don't read the Bible like we should. But if you believe in God and you die, you're in heaven. You got Isaiah, and you met Isaiah and said, oh, this is cool. And Isaiah, his first question is, hey, you read my book, right? You'd be like, no. Well, how you hear about me? It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because when you, like you said, we have all the things we have, but when you die, you have to, we're not going to know until we pass away. Because I know that when you die, you'll probably get like a little taste of it. And God say, hey, are you, I'm just throwing it out there, hey, do you believe in Jesus and all that? If you say, yeah, but he'll probably bring out the big old book and say, well, age 25, you did this, but you denied me.
So the only thing that I'll say to that is you won't get a little taste of it. I mean, he gives us until the very last second to be saved. But the people who choose to live their life away from God, they're not going to get a taste of it. They're going to get a taste of judgment.
Yeah.
Which we're all going to get a taste of judgment.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to open up the book on all of us. But there at the very end, when he gets done going through everything you've ever done in your entire life, what's done in the darkness will be brought to light.
Yeah.
Then our Lord and Savior is going to say, he's washed by the blood. That's the only difference.
Well, the thing is, we don't realize that this place isn't heaven. So then if we live our life like this is supposed to be like heaven, there's a good chance that's not where you're going to end up at the end of this life.
Yeah.
Just because if you're only worried about yourself.
Yeah.
But Jesus contradicts that whole thought process by saying, crucify your flesh, die to yourself, pick up your cross daily, and follow me. Like, I've kind of been getting stuck in a little bit of a rabbit hole, I guess you could say. I've been kind of following, not really religiously, but seeing this influencer, and over some months ago, it's become a really big topic of discussion today.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because some months ago they were trans, and then they were like,
wrong.
Yeah, this was a thing where they was like, I was trans, and then God came and spoke to me, and now I realized I need to be a man, and started going into his faith and things like that, and then has now since over the last month fell back in to who he was when he was a woman. And it's been a big thing because it's turned into, well, I can't believe that God would only want to love me whenever I hate myself and whenever I can't stand who I am because this is who I want to be, and da-da-da-da-da. And that's the part that they miss. It's because you're given into your desires.
Yeah.
The enemy wants that because the enemy can keep you into your desires. You have no reason to leave.
Yeah. So that actually brings up a good point. I don't remember exactly where it's at, but Jesus flat out tells us in the Bible, count the cost before you start.
Yep.
And I might get a little bit of hate for this, but I think we have this huge influx of people coming to the Lord in our country right now. That's great. Glory to God. I mean, it's wonderful. But people are, it's trendy right now to be a Christian.
Yeah.
Nobody's counting the cost. Nobody's actually sitting down and building a relationship.
Yeah.
They're doing it because it's the cool thing to do. Right?
Exactly.
I think we're in a. I don't mean to cut you off, but
you're good.
I just think it's, to me, I kind of see it. It's really weird. I think we're in a really weird time because we're in a middle ground. Because it's like, yeah, Christianity is kind of trying to see a little bit of a revival, which is amazing. I mean, any little bit of seed planted is better than none. And we even read in the book of Philippians that as long as Jesus is preached, then at the end of the day, that's what matters. But at the end of the day, we're also seeing we're in a weird place where it's like either it seems like everybody wants to be a Christian or everybody hates Christians.
Yep. Yeah, and it's kind of like Charlie Kirk when he passed away. A couple of days later, I'm just going out to like 10,000. So many Bible got thrown out because of Charlie Kirk. It's kind of like you said, trendy. The thing is, I might get called out or might not get liked. Is some of them are probably Stephen. Because if this guy's like, hey, I listened to Charlie and I decided, hey, I want to do this. But at the same time, he's like, well, he's doing all the bad things. But he's like, it's okay. I know God forgive me. Okay, that's fine. But do you repent? You got, like you said, you got to have a relationship with God. Yeah, if you want to be Christian, that's cool. But you got to have to read it. Sure, this Bible is nothing but truth.
Well, I think the problem is that people aren't actually reading them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of the issue is that people are coming to Christianity because we live in a day now where it's like, it's all Christianity soft, and it's only about love, and it's only about being kind to each other and affirming our feelings. But that's not what Jesus said at all. He said, die to yourself. He said, if you see a fellow follower stumbling, hold him accountable. Guide him back on the righteous path.
Yeah.
Help him. It doesn't say, oh, you like that sin? Well, that's okay because I love you, so I'm going to affirm it. No. What he's saying is, we love each other enough to not condemn each other.
Yeah.
To go ahead and say we're going to throw you in the lake of fire. You say, I love you, so I'm not going to condone your sin because I'm not going to watch you fall into hell. I'm going to help carry you into heaven with me, no matter what it costs.
Yeah. We're seeing parts of the Bible played out every day, obviously, but we're seeing that there's a major difference in when the Bible tells us there's a huge difference between a believer and a follower of Christ.
Yeah.
Because right now we do, which like I said, and I pray for these people on a daily basis. We're seeing a whole bunch of believers right now, but the Bible also tells us, and I'm talking about the part where it's just a trendy thing. The Bible tells us that it is worse for someone who believes and doesn't grow a relationship and doesn't produce fruit and show the light through them. It's worse for them than an unbeliever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then going off of that and what we was talking about just a second ago, if you don't mind, I want you to explain that again. What was it? I think it was 3 episodes now. But I want you to explain again that it's not necessarily condemning for a person who's been brought to Christ by a false teacher, but the importance of what a false teacher's got to look forward to in the end.
Yeah.
Podcast is sponsored by Lambs and Lions Clothing Company. They have a wide variety of high-quality clothing and bamboo sets for the kids. They also have matching sets for mothers. I am proud to partner with Lambs and Lions because they place Jesus at the center of every design. Check out the link in the description below and help support a company that is focused on Christ.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, that's going back to Philippians because that's
Yeah.
what we were discussing.
Yeah.
And basically, it's if you are a teacher, you're held to a higher standard because you're supposed to be leading these people to God, to righteously and a holy life and a godly life, and teaching them why we follow what we follow. The thing is, if you're leading people astray, then you're judged at a higher rate. He's going to say, well, yeah, you could have just loved me and have been better off. You could have just believed and you'd have been better off. But because you couldn't just believe and you had to lead people into hell, now you're judged like that.
Yeah.
And it's important for people to realize that it does say we're going to have false teachers and false prophets.
Exactly.
And things like that. And I think that's a lot of the problem today that kind of goes with what I was explaining then, is that they're planting the seed and they are giving some form of teaching. And that's why at the end of the day, Paul says that it's important that no matter what, as long as Jesus is preached, Jesus is preached.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, nobody else is responsible for your walk with Christ other than you.
Yeah.
Now, yes, there's going to be false teachings and people are going to say things that are not scripturally backed because they can cherry pick and things like that. We can all do that. I'm sure we've all done that more than we'd like to admit.
Yeah.
And sometimes without even realizing you're doing it.
Yeah, because this isn't a book all about you, but you like to try and plug yourself into the book.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happens. And then we're creatures of, we want to be justified and things. That's like when it's like when it says don't trade insult for insult, because our first reaction is to trade insult for insult. Whenever somebody attacks, we got to defend, and then we got to attack, and then they got to defend.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, no, let's have a discussion. I love you. Like, let's get through this together.
Yeah.
No, we want to look at it and all about me all the time.
Yep.
But that's the problem, is you got to say, I understand this person that's teaching me, whether I like them or not, I think they're a good person or not, which is relative, that it is on me to take this relationship with Christ personally.
Yeah.
And I have to read his word for myself, and I have to study it for myself, and I have to discuss it with people on a more personal level, rather than just say, okay, yeah, what he said to me on his 45-minute sermon on Sunday will do for me, and then I don't spend the rest of the week picking up my Bible. Or I know a lot of people, there's some people that love podcasts, there's some people that not podcasts, but they're good tools.
Yeah.
And what you just said is important too, because I recently wrote a sermon on, and in a part of the sermon I said, you make promises on Sunday with lying lips because you're the same person you was Saturday on Monday.
Yeah.
You're this completely different person on Sunday, but as soon as you walk out of the doors, it's like you completely forgot about everything that just happened, and you're right back to who you were.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important, and that's why I have the conversation with many people all the time. The only person that can get you into heaven is you.
Yeah.
No matter how much we teach or we try to lead or encourage somebody, we can't hold their hand and walk them through the door.
Yeah.
No, it has to be themselves, and just like that, Jesus is the one and only, the truth, the way. So if you don't know who Jesus is, or you refuse Jesus, then you won't able to get to the heaven. Like you guys said, you're the only person that's responsible is yourself. And just like that teaching, like, okay, like 3 of us, I say this, and this is what I understand, so I listen to him and you. It's all right. It's kind of like men group. If someone there first time or not, and they, this is what they understand, they can, as long as they can hear our understand or opinion, and we don't argue about it, we just like, okay, we're trying to find a middle ground, or the neutral ground. If that makes sense,
Well, I think that's my thing is for different tools. I always call them tools just because that's what they are. Like when you're listening to somebody talk on the gospel, or when you're in a room full of people, brothers, sisters in Christ, fellow followers. That's all tools, because it's something that should be helping you not only bolden your faith, but make you more resilient and more knowledgeable. And that's what we should seek is the knowledge.
Yep.
Yeah, they're tools that you can take for, so like a teacher to a congregation, just like what you're talking about. A preacher preaching on Sunday is giving you the tools you need to take out into the world Monday through Saturday night, and to be the disciple to someone else.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I was starting to get into, is that all of that is important because perspective is important.
Yeah.
Different perspectives of people. See, like, I know I've told you about the evening Bible study I go to. I'm the youngest guy in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's full of a bunch of older people, which I personally love that, because what happens is you see different generational perspectives on Bible and how much different biblical teaching that they've had. And we're sitting in there with our pastor, which is a great friend of mine, and his perspective. And then you got me as a younger generation perspective. And then you might have a couple that are kind of in between everybody's age. And their perspective is different. And that's what's important, because it sharpens you.
Yeah.
That's why, like, iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another, because everybody's going to have a different perspective and viewpoint on how the Bible teaches. And if we can sit together and sharpen that tool on whatever we're discussing, then we will all work better together as a body to live and work for Christ.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's like, not to jump the gun too much, that's like in Ecclesiastes, because that's what we've been going through. If I can flip to it real quick.
Yeah.
Is we just went over this, and I think that's really why I thought about it. It's Ecclesiastes 10, verse 10. It says, "If the axe is dull and its edge unsharpened, more strength is needed, but skill will bring success."
Yeah.
Because you can think you have it all worked out, and that at the end of the day you're going to figure it out. That's like it's saying with an axe. You can chop and chop and chop and chop on a tree for hours, and you might get it down, but if you did a job that could have took an hour and turned into a 3 or 4 hour job, then what did you really accomplish?
Yeah. You gotta do it on your own. It's a lot of work, and it can like mentally drain you. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay. That's what brotherhood. The thing is, if you have say you got your own buddy, your own support group. If you ask yourself, should I tell my secret or tell them what I feel, and they question you, maybe you're in the wrong group, and that's okay. I had a couple old buddies. I still talk to them every now and then, and they want to live. They kind of like earlier beginning, like why they living a good life and we're struggling. My buddies are living the high life, and that's fine. I'm just gonna plant my seeds. Hey, to one of these days, I hope they will probably hit me up to, hey, can you give me a church or whatever? I just want to plant them, and I'll be, guide them. And it's when you have your friend, it's okay to walk away, but don't dismiss your friendship because that person doesn't believe in God or still living it. You wanna, is it?
No, you're
good. It's because one of these days they will find Jesus. Hey, can you help?
Or they may never find them.
Yeah.
The problem is that, and that's kind of where you got to be careful too, is because we got to love everybody, but you don't want to be influenced by everybody.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was about to jump into. So, yeah, but it also tells us that there are certain times in life that you're going to have to walk away from loved ones, because if they're just pulling you and pulling you and pulling you in the wrong direction, it's better just to walk away from them.
Cut the hand.
Even if it doesn't say that you can't love people, that you still love people.
Okay.
The thing is, you don't want,
To fall
if they're
back.
dragging you from your faith, if they're hindering you, I can't remember the verse, but there's a verse that talks about this, is that because don't lead anybody astray.
Yeah.
If somebody is causing you to veer from the path, it's just like when your right hand causes your left hand to sin, cut it off.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
Now,
Yeah.
that's obviously not the first step. Like, that's not, we're jumping straight to
No.
doing that. But there is going to be a chance that sometimes it might get to that point. And you got to make that tough decision. And that's the hard reality of walking with Christ, is that it's not always going to be easy. Sometimes it will be. When we're in a room like this together talking as like-minded men,
Yeah.
we're in there in our Bible studies and we're talking to like-minded individuals who are all trying to help each other come up out of the struggle. It's always easier then. But it's whenever you're tempted in your
Yeah.
daily life
In the uncomfortable places.
with
Yeah.
whatever you desire that you know you shouldn't have, or the people that you love that are hindering you that won't change.
That make a good point. Yeah.
And to kind of jump back into Psalm 73, because this kind of ties in with it perfect. Starting off in 16, so I tried to understand why the wicked prosper, but what a difficult task it is. Then I went into your sanctuary, O God, and I finally understood the destiny of the wicked. And sanctuary here is what he's talking about. Sanctuary here is exactly kind of what we've turned this place into here. And like down there on Friday night, it's our comfortable place. It's where we go to get fed. It's where we go to be restored by like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
And then that should give you the courage and the want to go out into the uncomfortable places because you've just been fed again.
Yeah.
And you know you always have, and Sunday mornings is the same thing. When you walk into the sanctuaries on Sunday mornings, not the building itself, but the people that are there.
People in the front.
That's our sanctuary
Yeah.
as well. So it brings us comfort and it brings us joy, and it brings Asaph joy to walk into the sanctuary of God because he's being fed.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to worry about the wicked. It's not for us to understand. My heart hurts that there are people out there that will refuse God their entire lives.
Yeah.
But it's not for us to understand, and this explains that perfectly.
Yeah. I think something that helps with that is remembering that you didn't always accept them either.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I so preach that to people all the time. People, my friends or people that I go to church with and things like that, is that's what's important about remembering where you were before. That's important why you talk to other people about your testimony.
Yeah.
That's why it's important, because it humbles you. Because if you're always pushing that off, you're going to slowly start to forget that you were once a dirty rag like everybody else. You once denied Christ in your heart, even if you proclaimed him with your mouth, and you were still just as bad as the other person. And most of the time we still are just as bad. And if you continue to allow yourself to forget that, then you stop walking in a path where you think that, it was Christ who saved me, not me.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's people that have been saved, die-hard Bible thumpers for 25 years, and they still get back to that point sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the part that sucks now that we are followers of, and that's kind of what Paul's talking about. Right before Paul gets killed, he says, "I finished the race." I mean, he's excited because he gets to get rid of this filth.
Yeah.
He don't have to worry about it anymore, and we're kind of all in that same spot. There's still days that me personally, there's still days that I slip and fall, and there's days that I put God in my back pocket. It's because we inherited this right here. And it's just like, I can't wait for the day that I get to get rid of this, because then you don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
And Romans chapter 7 explains that a lot better. I just kind of did
That is probably, a lot of people say favorite verses. That is probably my favorite section in the Bible.
Yeah,
for sure.
Romans 7.
Yep.
Probably by far of anything. Probably my favorite book is Romans.
Yeah.
Romans or Acts. I really enjoy both Romans and Acts. And 7 specifically would probably be my go-to.
Yeah.
Because it lays it flat out. This is the Apostle Paul we're talking about. And if he can say, man, I am so a terrible person, like a dirty rag that I am, you know, but who saves me? Who makes me who I'm meant to be? Who exalts me?
And like in Matthew, Mark, all the book where Jesus lived, what was it? Peter said, Jesus told Peter that he told him that you're going to deny me 3 times. Mm-hmm. Peter said, no, I won't. So when he got arrested, a lot of people said, hey, I seen you. He said, no, like, you don't see me 3 times. You got denied it. Well, I'm sure he felt guilty, you know. He's like, man, this is wild. But after Jesus got crucified, Jesus appeared to Peter, and he told him 3 times, do you love me? He said, yeah. He said, do you love me 3 times? Mm-hmm. Jesus loved him. Even, I don't want to twist you or anything, like go off a different way. If you deny Jesus, Jesus still loves you. He always loved everybody, despite of what we are. Whether we are follower or atheist, that's that word, atheist. Because in the end, the judgment, whether it's, I'm trying not to twist it. It's just like Jesus always loved all of us, no matter what. He died for our sin. Yeah. He died for the world. Because God, Father, gave his one and only Son to the world that he loved. So that's
so we're almost out of time, but just to kind of end us off, Josh recently explained this to me, and it made sense, and I love it now. But Peter denies Jesus 3 times. Jesus is resurrected. He comes back to Peter, and over a fish dinner, he says, do you love me? Peter says, yes, I love you. It's just kind of like he's saying it in the way of just kind of like a brotherly love. Like, yeah, I love you. And then Jesus says, no, do you love me? And again, Peter says, yes, Lord, I love you. And again, he's meaning it in like a brotherly, I love you way. You know, I care for you. I'll do what I can for you. And then finally on the 3rd time, Jesus is like, no, Peter, do you agape me? Like, will you die for me? Is the love there that we are one? You know, we're married. And finally, Peter gets the click, and he's like, yes, I agape you. And then he says, go out and build my church.
Yeah. And it's a way to think about it, too, is when you come to Christ, as much as you deny him, he's going to expect you to not only affirm him just as much as you denied him, but even more.
Yep. Yeah.
And just a little fun fact, if you go back and read that section, whenever he's reaffirming Peter and saying, do you love me? If you go back, he uses different names in the beginning as to the end. At first, he calls him Simon.
Yeah.
And as he continues to ask, eventually he calls him Peter again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what, got a little goosebump.
Because he starts to come back into who Christ called him to be as he realizes. Yep. And that's the thing you got to be careful with, too, is because if you're not living in who Christ expects you to be, because he also at one point in time before the moment, whenever he asked Peter, who do you say I am? And then he was talking about, they will send me to death and I will rise again in 3 days. And Peter, Peter says, no, you won't. You're not going to do this. He says, get away from me, Satan.
Yep.
Yeah.
For you do not care for the will of my Father in heaven, but of your own.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important too.
Yeah. It's just.
And, just a little bit of encouragement as we go. There are going to be times that we slip and fall. It doesn't matter how much of a Bible thumper you are. It doesn't matter how much of a follower you are. You still got this dirty, filthy thing called flesh. But we can rejoice in the Lord because you are chosen. We are chosen. And he picks us first every day. It's just up to us to take the initiative to pick him first every day.
Yeah.
Amen.
And with that being said, we're all out of time for today.